And now onto our dinosaur of the day, Kayentavenator, which was a request from Tyrant King via our Patreon and Discord. So thanks. One of the many perks of being a dino-it-all through our Patreon. Kayentavenator was a Tetanuran dinosaur that lived in the early Jurassic in what is now the Navajo Reservation in Arizona in the US, in the Kayenta Formation. And Tetanurans are theropods more closely related to modern birds than to Ceratosaurus. This particular theropod, we're keeping with the theropod theme, Kayentavenator, kind of looked like Dilophosaurus, which is a coelophysoid. They're technically different, but there's been some debate around this. I'll get into it. Kayentavenator walked on two legs. It had a long tail. The Paleoart depicts a crest on its head. It's kind of bulky. It was carnivorous. The holotype that has been found is a juvenile. We know that based on having some unfused bones. And it's estimated to be 1.6 feet or half a meter tall at the hip. But it probably grew bigger because it's a juvenile. It was briefly described in 2003, and then it was fully described in 2010 and named by Robert Gay. And the name Kayentavenator, I will say, is valid, but he did self-publish it in a book. So there's some controversy over how it was named.
Yeah, because in general, you can either name a dinosaur in a peer-reviewed journal or in a book. Those are the two main places. I don't know of any other method.
Right. But I think there was some question because it was a self-published book.
Yeah.
The type species is Kayentavenator elysiae. The genus name Kayentavenator means Kayenta hunter, and the species name elysiae is in honor of Rob's now wife, Elysia Jennett, who helped and supported his research. The holotype, and only specimen found, includes a partial pelvis, thigh bones and shin bones, another part of the leg, the proximal fibula, and 7 vertebrae. Now, 3 coelophysoids have been found in this formation. You've got Dilophosaurus, Megapnosaurus, also known as Coelophysis Kayentacatae.
Yeah, that one.
Yes. And an unnamed coelophysoid known as the shake and bake dinosaur. It's really small and has fused bones, so it's probably an adult, and so that one has been ruled out. Wouldn't be Kayentavenator. And again, Kayentavenator is classified as a Tetanuran and not a coelophysoid, but there are a lot of features in common. Some things that set it apart, though, is that it had a hole in the hip bones, also known as pubic fenestrae, which sets it apart from Dilophosaurus. There were also some unique features in the femur, the upper thigh bone, and in the tail bones. Originally, Kayentavenator was assigned to Syntarsis Kayentacatae, which is now Megapnosaurus or Coelophysis Kayentacatae, and we covered that whole saga back in episode 456 if you want to listen. And I will say, when I was first looking at this dinosaur, I thought, this name sounds very familiar, and it's because of that species name.
Yeah, because I guess they're both from the Kayenta Formation.
Right.
So they worked Kayenta into both.
And it was originally assigned. It was part of the saga.
Hmm.
The fossils were found of Kayentavenator in 1982, and Timothy Rowe referred to it as Syntarsis Kayentacatae. Rowe first named Syntarsis Kayentacatae in 1989, based on a skull and partial skeleton. There were 2 other partial skeletons or fragments of skeletons that were also found. The species name Kayentacatae is in honor of Dr. Kathleen Kayenta K. Smith, who found the fossils.
Oh, interesting.
I am pretty amazed that I'm able to keep saying that species name.
Kayentacatae?
Yes. But anyway, it is no longer Syntarsis, as we covered in that saga of a dinosaur of the day, because turns out that was the name of a beetle first. So now it's either Megapnosaurus or Coelophysis, depending on who you ask.
If you're a lumper or a splitter, or if you're an invertebrate paleontologist who thinks the name
Big dead lizard.
Yeah.
It's not nice.
Which is what Megapnosaurus means.
Yes.
I still find it hilarious.
Anyway, it seems unlikely that Kayentavenator is the same as Megapnosaurus Kayentacatae, based on differences in the hips and tibia, the shin bone. But it's named based on fragments, so that means that later findings could change how we see Kayentavenator. Like I said, there was some discussion on whether Kayentavenator was validly named because it was self-published. One post I found said that it pretty much is valid because the only way to get a ruling on it is if there's a formal petition to keep the name Kayentavenator if someone tried to name it something else. Robert Gay did anticipate this debate and addressed it in his book, where he published the name Kayentavenator. He said the paper was reviewed by other paleontologists and it was submitted to a journal originally, but reviewers asked for revisions and he was unable to respond in a timely manner because of personal issues. But he did incorporate those revisions in the book, which you can download that book for free or pay for a physical copy.
Oh, that's nice that he made it available for free.
Yes, it was a little bit hard to find, though. I didn't think I was going to be able to read it at first, but I'm glad I did. He also said that he wanted to retain copyright of his work, which is another reason to self-publish, and he said that all the requirements for naming a new dinosaur were met. There is some debate over Kayentavenator's unique features and whether they were described correctly, or if some of those details are due to individual variation, which would affect whether or not Kayentavenator is considered to be a coelophysoid, like Coelophysis or Megapnosaurus. In 2022, Brian Eng tweeted that paleontologist Adam Marsh may be working on a redescription of Kayentavenator. So we'll keep our eyes open in case something comes out.
Yeah.
Kayentavenator lived in an area with rainy summers and dry winters with a lot of streams, ponds, and lakes. Some other dinosaurs that lived around the same time and place include, of course, Dilophosaurus and Coelophysis, the sauropodomorph Ceratosaurus, Heterodontosaurids, and the armored dinosaurs like Scelidosaurus and Scutellosaurus.
That's a cool formation.
It is.
One that, I think everybody knows about Dilophosaurus, but when you combine it with Coelophysis and some Heterodontosaurs and Scelidosaurus and even a sauropodomorph.
Yeah, I see.
There's a lot of diversity and, very early Jurassic / very late Triassic. Not exactly sure which side of the boundary it's on. That's very cool.
It is. And then some other animals that lived around the same time and place include sharks, fish, frogs, turtles, lizards, pterosaurs, early mammals, crocodilomorphs, and synapsids, as well as mussels and snails.